Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi şrah li sadri ve yessir li emri. Vahlul ukdeten min lisani yefkahu kavli. Vec'al li veziran min ehli. Üştür bihi ezri ve eşrikhu fi emri. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Okay, so we are reading from the Seedbed of the Light. We are on part 10 of the Book of Creation. We are on page 6, and we will start with the question. How can the order, harmony, and regularity be established? So the question is, how can the order, harmony, and regularity be established?
Can you just
Yes.
look, is there any difference between order, harmony, regularity, or different aspects of the same phenomena?
I think it's different aspects of the same phenomenon.
Yeah, order. Order means if there is no harmony, it means there is no order. If there is no regularity, it is not order. Continuously changing chaos cannot be called order. But you know, when you talk about order, you have to take into consideration that it is order means harmonious and regular, consistent way of coming into existence. The universe is based on this in its existence. Okay, how can it be? It means what can be the origin of disorder? Okay.
Answer. Sciences which function as if humanity's senses have discovered this order by deduction and induction. Sciences which functions as if humanity's senses have discovered this order by deduction and induction.
Let's read the paragraph concerning answer. It means two paragraphs. One a little bit short, the other one short, and then come to critical terminology used here.
Each branch of science is based upon or studies one aspect of existence. Science's universal principles originate in this order, harmony, and regularity. Each branch comprises the universal principles and rules prevalent in the species it studies. Those principles, universality and uniformity, point to the order's magnificence, for without it universal rules, or what they call laws, could not be inferred. Scientists discover that through that order through science, and by it see that the macro-human being, the universe, in parentheses, is as orderly as themselves. There is wisdom in everything, for nothing is purposeless or left to its own devices. The Book of Creation, with all its systems, worlds of living creatures and particles, proclaims divine unity. Altogether they declare, there is no deity but God.
Yeah. We studied that if you come to the conclusion for divine unity, it means there is no deity but the source of existence of the universe, which is God. Not which is named God. God is a name. or name, put a name to something that we identify the necessary existence of it, and say, okay, let's put a mark on it. Let's call it God. Got it? Because it is by its own nature unknown to us. But even, when you call something shoes, you identify an object, and how shall we call it? Shoes. Or shoes, yeah? Do you understand? Yeah. And in another culture or language, they call it someone else. But they mean the same object. Got it? So the name assigned to this source of existence is or could be anything, but which in the Quran or in the religious tradition, not religious tradition, revelation tradition, it has always been called God, according to the language in which the revelation was revealed. So I don't know what in Greek, in Latin, or whatever the language, or Aramaic, or Hebrew. In this language, what did they call this object? Shoe. Okay, let's call it shoe. In this language. In another language, what do they call to this same object? Another thing, another word, right? And Revelation 7 uses that word. Now, when the revelation came down to Arabic language, which is quite normal because it came to the Arabic-speaking people, so in Arabic, this object was called what? Allah. Revelation uses the name Allah. It doesn't mean that the word Allah itself is identical to God. You cannot use any other word in another language. The same object is called with another language. Do you feel comfortable there? So, being very optimist or determined to use the word God only, or this kind of word, is nothing but ignorance. Well, if you recite the Quran, you have to recite this word because you are reciting a text which is in Arabic. So you cannot say while you are speaking in Arabic, God. Because in Arabic, the word God does not exist. So use it, Allah. When you are speaking English, God, in another language, use whatever this language calls this concept. Use that in French. Do you? What's wrong with it? The same object we are mentioning. But you cannot say Dieu. You have to say God. Pointless ignorance. Obstinacy.
Same object, but if somebody attributes different adjectives to that object,
That is his business.
You are not talking at the same object.
No, but somebody describes shoes as slippers. That's his problem, not me. Whoever asks the people in this culture, how do they call that object shoes? That slipper, but let's call it shoe. They say shoes. But in some cultures, it is called slippers. Okay, that's up to them. So let them call slippers, but they mean the same object. But when they qualify it, of course, according to you, shoes must have these qualities, that qualities. You say, okay, my understanding of shoes has these qualities. Shu has these qualities. Define it. But by changing the word, you cannot change the concept. Being just prejudiced and alien to the native speakers of this culture. So when I say to an English-speaking people, look, your definition of God is different from mine, so I am using Allah. So you have to say Allah. What do you mean? He has to explain by the word Allah what he means. You can explain by the word of God in English what you mean. That's up to you. If you don't explain and say Allah, Allah, rather than God, the people will say, they don't believe in God. As far as they understand. It means really in Arabic, they don't believe in Allah, according to English-speaking people. Because he means God, Allah, but with slightly different, maybe corrupted meaning. But you are alien now in this culture. You are not talking about this word anymore. That is just being, addiction to tradition.
I was thinking because since they attribute different qualities to that object, so when they call this object name, it shapes their mind.
Okay, how many people has different understanding of shoe in a Bedouin's culture? When you say shoe, they mean definitely different from those people who live in Alaska. But according to their understanding, it changed their meaning. But by changing the word, you cannot correct the concept or meaning of the concept, content of the concept you are using. We have to explain it. You have to explain it. In Islam, what the Quran describes God as having such and such qualities. He has to say in Christianity, in Judaism, what we mean by God has this and this and these qualities. Everybody will describe it. By changing the word, you cannot change the nature of the concept or object that the concept refers to. Well, I don't know why it became very sensitive.
Can you please open the window a little bit?
But does everybody?
It's hot.
Hey, pop.
It's always
No.
cold, right?
So, is everybody happy with it? Yeah, of course. Maybe majority may not like it. Okay. Right? Come to the beginning. As the text, the last line of the text said, divine unity means there is no deity but God. Explain. Otherwise, if you ask any religious tradition, what do they mean by God? Divine being. Never say divine being. How do you describe it? Different. Somebody may say there is no deity but God, and next to him, somebody else, Jesus, his son, representing the king. Next king, prince, or next king. But not actor, but real actor is the God, but the prince takes care of the human business. That's their definition of the word. By changing the word, do you think you will change their mind? You have to explain. Okay? Or by changing the word, do you think they will change your mind? When they say, don't say Allah, say God. It means when I say God, I will believe in Christian understanding of God. No, you will say, Steve, my understanding of God is this. There is no deity, there is nothing in the world. Which may be which may have the quality of being needed, but the one who gave existence to whole universe has the quality of being needed, which is called God. Simple. It's as simple as that. But difficult to digest because of the heavy influence of culture. Okay. Any question? Not another question. Not another question. No, I'm very, very. It is a very mistaken attitude. What I usually do. Any question? As if challenging people. No, we are friends here. Sharing them. Another idea, any addition, your or correction.
Because language shapes the idea, you know that. Sometimes
Language is the product of the ideas.
product of the idea.
Just the opposite, yeah. So accordingly, every civilization, every culture produces its own language. That's why languages are continuously changing, developing, according to the understanding of the people is understanding of the people, how the understanding of the people changes. Language assumes new concepts. Okay? For example, telephone. Yeah? Telephone. It is Greek word because people started using telephone and they borrowed the word and they make it English. They made it English. Or in other languages, in Turkish also they call telephone. I don't know in Urdu, when you don't know maybe how do they call telephone. Even I hear the Bengali people, they use numbers 1, 2, 3, 100, especially when it comes to dollar. $1,000. Yeah.
So when referring to a concept and in a particular society, it is still important to qualify whatever
Right.
it is being referred to, even if the person you're speaking to lives within the same society. Because you might be saying shoe, but their understanding of a shoe might be
In your, you mean syllable. For example.
Yeah, so it's still important even within the same society.
Yeah, that's why. I think you may recall now, we say in our discussions, in our classes, don't say God without qualifying,
Yes.
according to the context of the discussion or talk. God alone, just a name. Also, do you remember we gave on several occasions the example, if you say somebody, let's call this person John, so John. What does it mean? If you don't know his qualities, John, who are you talking about? Oh, for example, let's say the engineer John. There is an engineer who's called John. Without engineer, John means for me nothing. Without qualification, according to the concept, of course. For example, let's say you have an iPhone and God forbid you have a problem, it will cost a lot. So take it to Mark, I said. Who's this Mark? Oh no, he's the one who repairs smartphones. He's an expert. You take it there. Otherwise, you cannot take it to a person who's called Mark. There are many Mark ones. Without qualification, talking about God, when you are reasoning, is a wrong attitude. Okay.
And I think also just one other note, sometimes it's better not to perhaps even name it because of the amount of baggage that comes.
Yeah.
I might say Mark, but you know hundreds of Marks. So instead of saying Mark, I'll say there's an iPhone repair guy
Yeah.
down the street.
Yeah.
You can take it to him, and
You
then
don't have
when
to
you
give
go
the
there,
name.
you'll know it's Mark.
That's exactly. You don't have to name. And especially while you are speaking to other people, because if those people follow a certain religious tradition, that is different. Most of the people, especially young generation, which you are going to, or we would like to speak to, the old generation, leave them alone. They are happy with their life. So the younger generation, to me, never say God. Use the repair guy, the telephone repair guy. Never say Mark. Pointless. Saying Mark. They will definitely say, what's talking about? What's it? But if you say telephone repair guy, they will say, oh, yeah, I need a repairman for my telephone. So I can go there. Where is it? Oh, no, I can give you the telephone number. He says, okay, how can I address him? Mark. That's just extra, not essential. Essential is telephone repair guy, adjective. Got it? It's a very good point. Thank you. But you deserve running. Okay, inshallah.
Okay. Sciences which function. So again, the question was, how can the order, harmony, and regularity be established?
Mhm.
And so
It was a very legitimate question. Very. I think we should take this question seriously. Yeah. To answer this question seriously.
sciences which function as if humanity's senses.
Yeah. Now stop there to me. I just said, oh, we have to stop here. Why? What the author did here, pause. What the author said here, the science, yeah, made an analogy between human senses. Why? What does it mean, human senses? Science is the discovery of the universe. What's going on here? What does it do with human senses? Answer, and any speculative even answer.
Well, your question is, what is the relationship between sciences and humanity's senses that
Human senses, yeah, humanity's senses.
the author is making here, right? Well, at least one initial thought that I had was what we qualify as sciences is also through my interaction with the universe through my senses. So sense of sight, thinking, analysis, observation, all of these different senses, if you will. So
We cannot imagine a thing which is not associated to our sense, one or more senses, the existence of that thing. But since it is not within our capacity, we cannot give a practical example, but we can give a negative example. Negative example means human beings or animals, whatever, living beings do not have the concept of smelling smell. Yeah? Let's assume. Would anyone in the world be able to discover that Some things are smelling different. The things that smell different from each other. There are endless varieties of smell in the. Can we discover that? Because we don't have the sense of smell.
I don't have access to that type of information.
Sorry?
I won't have access to that type of differentiation or information.
You cannot find it because you don't have the tool. And even you, if you see the smell, if the smell exists there, you would notice something exists there. Now we have to. I said, if we understand this method today, that is worth it. But it is not difficult. I hope it won't take all class. But we have to pay attention that there is a direct relationship within the universe and us. We cannot go beyond the universe to investigate, not logically investigate, question. No. It is our sense as well, thinking, questioning, deducing. It will say deduction, induction. These are our within capacity. That's what we can do. Because it is in us. If we were not giving these capacities, we would never be able to reason. Because we would notice. Now, we would notice the existence of that thing that which exists, really. Example, we cannot talk about any by giving a real example. I couldn't. Shall we give a real example? No. If it is not within my capacity, how can I talk about that thing which is not within my capacity? So whatever happens in the universe can only be detected or perceived by human beings within their own capacity. So there must be an equal relationship, as far as I am concerned, between the qualities of the universe and my human qualities, human capacities, whatever you call it, humanity's senses. It is an amazing, excellent point, equating the universe. So equating human beings to the universe is a very ancient tradition, is Islamic thinking. More than 1400 years back, people were saying you are a small universe. These Bedouins, desert Bedouins, were saying this. Now people are not aware of it. After 1400 years of development in philosophy and science. It's a very simple equation. We miss it. So they said, I am equal to the universe. Because whatever the qualities manifested in the universe, I can perceive them only what the qualities, human qualities, are given to me through on that path. So the one who created the universe and me must adjust them together consciously, so he gave me all the qualities that I have, human qualities, humanity senses. I can study the qualities of the universe. There may be more, I cannot claim that, but the universe means, according to my capacity, only within the content of my capacity. And you see the adjustment, actually. There's a conscious adjustment. Why should I have all these qualities that I become aware of endless qualities, almost endless qualities, manifested in the universe every age, every century, every decade. A new branch of science is emerging. It means it is in the human capacity as well as in the universe, but we didn't discover. The humanity has not discovered it yet. And it's so amazing. I don't know which kind of universe has qualities, more qualities, which are not discovered yet, but human beings are able to do that because it's going endlessly developing. New branches of science, a discipline in science, scientific study. Endlessly going, as far as we see now, endlessness within the conditions of this universe. So it seems that human beings and the universe has the same source so that they correspond to each other. You can say whoever created the universe must be the creator of human beings, and this is a conscious choice because there is a direct cooperation, collaboration, correspondence between them. So amazing. So the very, very ancient saying, don't see yourself as a little being. Yeah, it's a very famous saying, which is said 1450 years ago. You have a universe within yourself. The Bedouin, desert Bedouin, who didn't know how to read and write, is saying this. This consciousness, level of consciousness, awareness of reality is much beyond 21st century's most bright, smart science. Much developed, that much more developed than the most bright scientist who says matter consists of itself, happens by itself, that's it. As if the level of the teachings of the Quran educated people in such a way that as the people study sciences, not really reaching that level, going down and narrowing their understanding of the universe to accidental happenings. No purpose, no meaning. The other one is saying, look, you are as a human being, as worthy of the whole universe. All qualities are in you as well. Manifested in you. Come on, discover. The other one says, this universe is meaningless to me. It is the most developed materialist scientist's mind. They are just accidental happening of the result of accidental happenings, biological development, which is just developed by itself. You have no significance in this world at all. You see, materialist approach to the universe, how much they insult human beings. Dishonor. Dishonor. Is it mine or someone? Okay. I mean, if it is mine, maybe the connection is not well. People, yes, we can make it more powerful now. Thus, we have to think. We have to sit, think, and be grateful that how the Quran can be benefited and realize how precious human beings are and his creator, how high, if you like, he is beyond imagination. Wonderful work. He brought all the qualities of the universe into your little body. Okay.
I was just thinking, it's one level of, I don't know what you would call it, but like attributing the qualities in the universe to itself. That's one level of, I guess, not thinking it thoroughly enough. But then,
Now, excuse me, I would say, okay, but this not thinking of it thoroughly enough,
or limiting
It's-
yourself within the universe,
it is a, I mean,
insufficient.
insufficient underestimation of those people's attitude as an obstinate, biased, stupid people. It is not that they are denying it, they don't want to accept it. They know better than you and I do when they deny it. Why? Human beings are free to deny it and say that I can do anything I want. Well, okay, I mean, you use a very soft description, it really legitimizes their attitude. It is not acceptable at all. Okay?
Yes, when you choose to deny it consciously, then you have no choice but to also say that the relationship between me and the universe is just attributed to itself as well.
Meaningless. No, meaningless. It's meaningless. I wonder, since the outcome has no meaning, why do they bother to investigate further, deeper and deeper? What? Why do they bother? It is meaningless. Why do you bother? There is no purpose. Why do you bother to talk about it and claim that it is meaningless? It is meaningless. Why do you shout? Why do you shout? It is meaningless. Why do you shout? Why do you need to impose your idea on others? It's meaningless anyways, purposeless anyways. If a other person says, there is a purpose in your existence, you are missing your real value, ignoring it, be careful, you are very precious, wants to give you dignity. The other one says, you are nothing, you are meaningless. Why? You put yourself in dump yourself in a dumpster, and don't care about it. As if they are saying. The other one says, no, you are very precious. The one who says you are very precious wants to awaken you. The one who says you are meaningless wants to degrade your value and put you in a despair, meaninglessness, purposelessness. Then, okay, don't bother about anything. They are saying, in their propaganda of their ideas, they contradict that. If your idea says that I have no value, then why do you bother to convince me? I have no value anyways, according to you. But the other one says, for example, let's say, I don't know, it's in material sense, it makes sense or not. If someone says, diamond, you have diamond. The other one says, it is nothing, it's a piece of stone, throw it. The other one says, no, it is so precious, very rare. People are ready to get it. dying for it. Keep it. No. If someone sees that diamond is ordinary stone, why does he bother to convince you that the thing you have in your hand is nothing but ordinary stone? Why does he? But the other one is panicking that you are losing value by seeing that it's ordinary stone, because he loves you. He wants to have it, keep it, use it. The other one is the one who hates you, doesn't want to give any value to you, doesn't want to attach any value to you because he's jealous. If you say that, look, I have diamond, it is very precious, and he says, I don't have it, but he has it, but he denies it. I don't have it. You shouldn't have it either. Do you understand this conflict? You shouldn't have it. Throw it. It's the jealousy, envy, hatred to reality. Human beings are free. They can choose any way they want. It is a wishful thought. Yeah, to think that it is diamond and precious. Come on. Why? They cannot compete with you according to their understanding, because they threw their diamond away, and they want you also to throw it away, that they will be equal. Miserable people, meaningless.
I mean, the moment they ask you to throw it away,
Hmm.
they're already acknowledging its existence. So,
No, what
at
a
best, they might
being
say you don't
diamond.
even have it, and you have it. You know,
But
because if they think that they don't have it,
by
they're
denying
denying
it,
it, yeah. They
they
also deny
bother.
you don't have it.
No.
Don't
So-
bother doing
So even according to, let's say I am an atheist, okay? I say it is not diamond, or your value is not, it's just ordinary, accidental stone for me. Why do I bother to tell this guy that throw it, throw it, throw it?
because your value is linked to their understanding of their
So
values.
I will see that, or I will really, really face the reality that the one I threw it away was a diamond, but I lost it. Let me get it back. No, listen, he must lose it as well. We will be equal in being miserable, meaningless, purposeless in this life. Saying that now you are just thinking, and it's the wishful thinking, wishing that it is valuable to keep it. It is not. Come on, throw it. Propaganda upon propaganda. Billions of dollars are spent on this secular, materialistic science interpretation of the world on education system. Why do they bother? Why do they bother? Let them be free. Yeah, they say, okay, it is a wishful thinking, but I'm very happy that I have a dime. Why it bothers you? Why does it bother you? Why wishful thinking? Why does it bother you? You understand that jealousy, obstinacy, stubbornness is at work.
I think, I mean, sometimes it seems like their argument goes about as follows. They say that you shouldn't have or believe in such a diamond, right? You should have certain beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Because those beliefs damage other people
Well,
in terms of the effects of religion or how it affects other people. So I feel like just to give some room to them, I mean, they could think that it's because it's harming others as well.
So, what caused the First and Second World War? How many million people were killed? Religion. This misunderstanding, for example, if they are honest, if they were honest, if people misuse, abuse diamond in the wrong way, rather than denying diamond, they should teach how to use it rightly. That's what real religious people are trying to do. Correct people's usage of diamond. They deny that it is not diamond, leave it. According to their expectations. They are very sorry. If you ask those people who have diamond in their hand, but real, not imitators. So imitators need this education, training, taming, but not denying that it is diamond in your hand, because it doesn't go against human senses. No, I am precious. If someone insults me, I take him to court. Why? I am honorable being. I have honor. If you insult this man, materialist man, they will take you to court because he dishonored me. But you can disagree, but you cannot insult. According to their own materialist or religious both law, human sense, you cannot insult human honor in any sense, religious or non-religious. That's human sense, common human sense. But by saying that you are not diamond, you are an ordinary stone, they insult you and insist that you should accept that is, I will teach you that you have no value at all. You are the result of accidental being. Happenings. So this is an excuse. The ignorant people who have diamond in their hand misused it. Does it necessitate that we should deny the diamond or we should educate them? Which one?
And educate, of course, but I think that's also taking into assumption that the diamond as they're presenting it is presented wrongly, right? So if I already don't
If it is presented.
right, so if I don't believe, then I'm not even going to know that they're misusing it incorrectly. I'm just going to think that the way that it's being used is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I have no reason to think, oh, well, it's not the diamond, it's them. I just think it is the diamond, and that it's not a diamond then. I don't even realize it's a diamond to begin with.
Okay, teach me. Teach me that it is diamond. That's what the genuine people try to teach others, that look, don't misunderstand, don't misuse religion for stupid or inhuman way. But they don't say that you shouldn't misuse the diamond against its own nature, controlled by. So what shall I do? Educate them. But if you come with the opposite idea, because it is misused, so I have to teach them that they don't have the diamond. It is an obvious contradiction. It means there's something else is going on there.
Obstinacy.
Sorry?
Obstinacy.
Obstinacy. To me, jealousy. Jealousy. People believe in God and be aware of the value of this. And they are secure in their existence. For caprices that they want to fulfill, they don't submit themselves to the Creator and act independently of the Creator. They think that they are free now, they can do anything, but they don't have the happiness as much as an ordinary, uneducated, believing person. They don't feel happy in their life. This is to look at this old woman. The doctors told her that she's going to die soon in 6 months. She doesn't panic. She is comfortable, she is relaxed, she is satisfied. She says, oh, it is not my business, it is the business of my Creator. Let him think about it. Oh, so we're comfortable. Look at this one. I can't be as comfortable as this uneducated, illiterate, old, 80 years old woman. I'm a scientist. And I don't feel as comfortable as this woman is. Isn't that jealousy? They never admit that. They are jealous of those people. According to me, they misunderstand the reality, but they are happy. Let them be happy. Let them be happy with their misunderstanding of their life. Why do you bother that they should be as miserable as I am? Why do they bother? Religion kills people. Okay, look at the world now. Who is causing wars? Who invaded Iraq and killed? Muslims? Many, many babies. They say because of the lack of medical support, 1 million babies were killed in Iraq during the war. Most of them died. There is no medicine to prevent from other diseases spreading there, or contagious diseases. Babies, poor. Young people in the war were killed. Yeah, I admit, because of the obstinacy of certain people claimed to be Muslim, they also caused some damage between Iraq and Kuwait and the other, so Iraq and Iran. Yeah, Saddam was an atheist. And because he had the flag which says La ilaha illallah written wrongly. Yeah. Allahu Akbar, not La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Yeah. So an atheist using certain people's religious sensuality, use religion as a tool. He himself killed many scholars while he was in the authority. Later on, he understood that he did something wrong. But of course, on the other hand, politically, in an incorrect way, he was killed. Again, if anybody causes some sort of corruption, and it should be killed by another administration, where in political life, in this country, there is no corruption. They should all kill them and kill the corruptors seriously themselves. All trick. All trick. And especially, I don't really look at the case from political perspective. I look at the case from interpretation of the reality of the universe, existence. So I am more concerned with, if you like, you call it quote unquote philosophical perspective. How do you see the world? Political side is, everybody knows that dirty. But now, philosophical side hides itself behind the discoveries of scientific discoveries and defending their atheistic, materialistic ideology, interpreting the discoveries with their ideology. Yet they found something is happening, they label it happening accidentally. What is accident? Whose accident? Accident. What is accident? But natural, what is nature? Come on, show it to me. Which gives the existence to the universe, which is called nature as well. Which one? But which one are you talking about? There's a universe and another thing, or what? The universe itself. A universe is making itself. What do you mean? So meaningful, harmonious, orderly, making itself. No? Show me that the universe, the matter has this quality to make itself perfect. Show me. Correct? They say we don't believe in something that we can really examine and prove that at least not right, but at least not wrong. Right? That is the principle you know much better than everyone. Yeah, than you. Now it is disprovable. Unless it is proved otherwise, it means it is disprovable, it is correct. That's what there's nowadays their standard is.
I was thinking that, just going back to the humanities senses thing, even when I think about my physical senses, like sense perception, there's always an element of interpretation that's involved there. Even when I look at a piece of paper, I'm interpreting something, or the order in which my mind is created. There's interpretation involved in all of my senses as well. I think much like how there's inevitably always interpretation involved when discovering or explaining part of the order of the world as well, which the sciences do.
So, what is your conclusion?
I was just thinking that in terms of, the parallel between sciences functioning as humanities senses, there's the interpretive element in both of them.
In both what?
In
Make
both,
it clear here.
in both my senses and my interaction with the world,
Mhm.
and sciences and the conclusions that come from them.
Also interpretation.
Yeah,
So
it's impossible to not have an element of interpretation involved. Whether you say it's accidental or it's created, there's
Yeah.
always you
interpretation.
can't present any information without some sort of interpretation in
Yeah.
there.
That's why we have to use right criterion for interpreting, which is appropriate to my capacity. Which one is correct? Which one is logically acceptable, provable, and my logic will say yes. My logic, I'm not saying Quran or Bible will say yes. No, not at all. They come later on. First, my logic must be convinced so that this is the source of the source of interpretation is presents itself as an interpretation. Which source makes sense to me? Materialist source or the source that says I am revelation? Which one? Why do you believe in, for example, I ask this question to myself. Why do I believe in the Quran? That it is an it is a source which makes sense to me to accept because I interpret, and it says when you interpret the universe, you should come to this end. I said, oh, they overlap, they correspond to each other. I said, oh, yeah, this, I agree with this source. That's why I say I believe in the Quran, Quranic presentation of the interpretation of the universe. Quran doesn't say that what I am claiming is not the reality of the universe that you will experience and interpret it logically without being biased. That's why imitation, according to the definition of the Quran, is not belief. It means belief means conviction. Belief is not doesn't mean what is meant in this culture. That's why maybe the first thing you talk about God, I don't use faith here, but use another English word with description of what faith is, conviction. If you are convinced, then it is your faith. If you are not convinced, but if you learn from heritage, it is not your belief. That's why the qualification is essential. As the example said at the beginning, there's a computer repair man here. Well, who is this man? Here is the telephone number. By the way, you can address him as Mike or Mark, whatever we say. Huh? Makes sense. Names come later on. Titles come later on. But I must be convinced first. So no one says that any religion does not present the way the universe is to be interpreted by you. That's why to see the correspondence between human senses and what the universe really how the universe is happening and what news does it give to me, whether they correspond or not. That's what my concern is. If they don't correspond to my human senses, whatever I discover cannot be acceptable by my human senses. I will reject it because I cannot confirm it. How can I imitate? Because any conclusion that I gather from the universe needs to be interpreted because this is the matter. It doesn't speak. Even, I think this is a very important point. In Islamic tradition, Quranic tradition, I will call, because when you say Islamic tradition, people think of Muslim population. No, I don't mean that. These are people. Every man can do it. But in Islamic tradition, not only the universe is subject to interpretation, even the revelation is subject to interpretation. What does it mean? That is the first dispute took place among the students of the Quran 1450 years ago. 1450 years ago. What was the debate? The revelation is to be taken literally. The revelation is to be taken by interpretation. However you read the revelation, your understanding is your interpretation. That is Imam Ali's step, which is peerless, perfect.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. So if you follow Quranic teaching, Quran says, read me correctly and interpret it. Otherwise, if although in reality you do nothing but interpret, that's your understanding of the text. It is your interpretation of the text. It is inevitable, but accept it that you are interpreting. Without accepting that my understanding of the Quran teaching is my interpretation, what you are claiming, I am exactly what the author meant there. I have this idea. It means I'm God. If you read a book, can you say that this is exactly what the author saw? No, that's what I understood. No ordinary book. Necessarily that it is not necessary that the book, the source will claim it is a divine speech. No, an ordinary book, a person speaks. You listen to him, what you do. You listen to me now, what you say. That is Ali's interpretation, and you understand what I said. That is my interpretation of what Ali said. It is inevitable. I mean, it is not human at all to defend other way around or deny. It is inevitable, but every reading is an interpretation. So personal. Accept that. That's what I understood from the Quran. Can you say that's what God meant it? Or in ordinary book, when you read a book, can you say that is what author meant it? Guaranteed? You cannot speak on behalf of the author. You can speak only on your own behalf. That's so simple and clear. Why do we take an inhuman, illogical attitude saying that what God says, speak on your behalf? What I understood from what God said to me. You don't know. You cannot know the mind of the author of any book, let alone the Quran. You cannot claim that. For example, I said something, you understood something, you said something, I understood something. Isn't it obvious that it's my interpretation of what you said? That is your interpretation of what I said. So that is my understanding. See, that is my understanding. I said that's my understanding of what you said. Can I say exactly you meant this? Claim? Impossible. I cannot read your mind. I cannot read the mind of the author. Or even human author, let alone the author of a divinely, claimed book. It's human. And how can you say the same thing to a book which claims that I am the speech of the all-knowing one? Ridiculous to claim other way around. Otherwise, isn't this? So interpretation. So it is good to notice that in what's going on in the world, when you read a book written by anyone, religious, non-religious, atheist, or staunch follower of revelation, you should say that this is his interpretation. Let me see if it makes sense to me. You cannot say, how do you judge God, who you are? That is the most baseless claim. How do you claim to know God's mind? This is my understanding, of course, my interpretation. So we have to be aware that we interpret everything, we interpret universe, we interpret somebody's speech or text, written text, whatever, and we interpret the book which calls itself as divine speech. Yeah, the creator's speech. Is there another way? What is the difference between an atheistic interpreter of the universe and my, or anybody's, but as far as I am concerned, my interpretation of the creation? Both of us having interpretations. But as far as I am concerned, I am looking at logical consistency in my conclusion. My conclusion. That's why every idea put forward by a person is subjective. How about the Quran, for example? Yeah, the Quran is a subjective speech. Subjective to the author, which claims that I am the creator of the universe, subjective to it, not to me. Do you understand? So the author says, I am the creator of the universe. It is on me to accept whether the source of this knowledge I gathered by interpreting with my own capacity from this text, that the source of this speech must have limitless knowledge because it doesn't contradict my understanding of the universe, my understanding of my human senses. So I said, oh, the author is telling the truth. That's why it's custom in Islamic tradition when they recite a verse from the Quran, knowingly or unknowingly, that depends on the person who recites it. But consciously you should say, Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Sadaqallah. Oh, I agree. I understand that really it resonates in my feeling and I confirm it. But people know it or not, that's up to them. I have to know what I'm saying. I have to read the verse, investigate it according to my interpretation, whether it is the result of my interpretation. Be careful about this. Result of my interpretation, be careful, result of my interpretation must be consistent within my human capacity that I can confirm it. This confirmation is belief. If there is no such confirmation, for me, I don't know the other people, what they are doing. It is not belief. It is just claim. Got it? Pure? So you will have no problem about the subject.
So I was thinking, we may both, all of us, read the same text.
Yeah.
And interpret it differently, and that is the way, in a way, it's supposed to be, because it's impossible to have the same understanding of a certain text because everyone interprets it.
It may look like it, it doesn't matter.
There might be overlaps,
it is not expected,
right?
At all. It doesn't have to.
So I was thinking, from a community sense.
Yeah.
So on an individual basis, this is the way it ought to be, and then this is the way it should be. It should be like on an individual basis, right? Yeah. I interpret the text based on my understanding, based on my situation, based on my life experiences. And then I was thinking, what about like community-wise? Yeah. But then I'm just gonna go through my entire thought process. Yeah. You know, belief is not communal; it's personal. So just what we're talking about here is just directly from a belief-related perspective. And then things that look to the community are always usually physical, outwardly practices, and it's again impossible to know the inner state of being of another person, so that argument kind of falls completely apart. But I guess in our unity, we're interpreting the same text.
Yes, of
So
course.
that is one aspect of it that is drawing us together. And I think, in a way, our conclusions should be pointing to the same end, even if everyone kind of approaches it differently.
Yeah.
Because the human senses within each of us, the only end that I can bring my human senses to must be an absolute end. There's
Yeah.
nothing that can satisfy this. So no matter what path that I take, or what path that you take, or somebody else takes, the paths might be different, but the end result, whether or not I make it there, but there's only one end result that can actually satisfy me, and that is I guess what, on a community basis, also what pulls everyone together, as well as on an individual basis, just from a belief
So-
perspective.
Let's see whether the problem of community life. Everybody lives in a community. Okay? No one lives independently on top of a mountain or in the center of a forest. Even they have some communication. They're exceptional people that their practical life. Okay, they prefer them. Okay, but exceptional generally. So what the Quran says is very interesting. It says, come to the common point, common word. Community is established on the common word. Quran says, look, don't forget that you are going to make a community ummah. Community means in Arabic, in the Quranic, the term ummah, wasat. It means middle way. It means common point, common agreement. Not in the details, common agreement. We are living where? In the States now, all of us, as far as I. Okay. How do we live here? Isn't that a community? American society? But we will come to an interesting conclusion. Now, everyone agrees on something in general. What's up in this community? All right? Common point. That's why life is bearable. You don't go out and find a jumble, whatever. What do they say it in English?
Jumble mumbo?
Jumble mumble.
Jumble mumbo, yeah.
Jumble mumble. No, you find an order. People go on the right, drive on the right, not on the left, and they stop there. And you go to the shop without talking at all. Let's make a deal. Come on, how much are you asking for this? No. You go to the shop, and it says this is $5. Like it, buy it. Don't like it, go. When you buy, you have to pay. That's the established. You go to the shop without even speaking. What you do, you get the thing, go to the counter or cashier, automatic payment. You just show it to the machine and takes it from you, whether your card or the paper money, bills, and you got this agreement. Does it work? Yeah. Does everyone keep the common point, or some people exploit it, misuse it? Okay. Exceptional though, but some. That's why in the community life, human beings need what? Regulation, law enforcement. When the Quran says you need Sharia, I'm going to give you the outline of it. Right? That is the best for you as the creator I am suggesting to you. Here you are free to practice it or not. That's up to you. I'm just suggesting to you. Because I gave you the creator speaking. I'll give you the freedom to do it or not to do it. As the Quran says, Let them believe or not let them believe, or let them not believe, don't believe, because they are free. I created them free. What do you do? And the prophet is a first and prime teacher of the revelation in this age. The prophet wanted everybody to believe because it is correct according to him. Right? The revelation came down. What are you doing? Did I give you a job to convert everybody, to make everybody believe? There's obvious language in the Quran. That's my understanding, by the way. But no one can read so clear language that interprets another way. But they may go in details and differ their idea in their ideas. That is also human. But in the middle way, yeah, you cannot force people to accept certain interpretation of life and creation. No. But you suggest, you teach. Do they have to learn? No. If you go to school, some people learn better than the others. Study, take the class seriously, better than the others. Isn't that so? You cannot find two students equal. But approximation, the teachers say you are equal, give the grade equal grades. But in reality, no. Cannot be. No two people are equal exactly to each other. That's why variations, diversity has to be allowed to be practiced in every society. Who does this? Islam does this. Everybody can come and live their belief as long as they agree with the general rules of the Islamic administration. If they don't, the doors, there is no door in Islam. Administratively, there is no door. It means boundary of the administration. Open. Go with someone else. This is our generally accepted regulations. If you want to be a minority, stay here and go against it. What do they say? For example, I came here, not you, maybe some of you, as an immigrant. And I said, I agree with your general regulations. I will obey. I will abide by them. That means asking for permission for residence in this country or citizenship in this country. But can you have the citizenship in this country without saying pledge of
Allegiance.
sorry?
Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance, yeah. Pledge of allegiance. Otherwise, they wouldn't give you the residence. They wouldn't give you the citizenship. Why? If there was no such thing, I would come here and do anything I want. I would say, no, I don't accept your rule there. I am a citizen, but I don't accept your rules, your general principles here. I want to go through red light. It is a very common example. Yeah? You say, it is according to my understanding, according to my belief, I don't have to stop in red light. Understand that? So they say, okay, out. Or in prison. In prison. Why? Otherwise, they cannot keep this harmony of the general body of the community. It is the same in Islam. If you don't want to follow any religious source, not Islam only, Judaism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, any source which says, I am sacred and I have authority over human beings, your source of guidance. So it has the authority on me. I can treat you according to the teachings of your divinely claimed sources. If someone says, no, I don't have such thing, I am the authority in my word, that is atheistic attitude. Islam says, how can I treat with you? You have no value, which that you will respect. And they say, practically speaking, I have my human values. Okay, even the most heinous murderer killed 51 people at once, deliberately, not accidentally. Says, I followed my human values. Yeah. I didn't say that what I did was wrong. No, he said it's right. What will you say to this man? According to him, that's right. How can you punish him? How can you stop him from killing another 100 people? Huh? That is the necessity of the community life. That's why Islam says Sharia, secular civilization says law is definitely to be applied equally to everyone, every citizen who lives in, even the tourists. The tourists come here, what? I am here with the condition that I obey your rules, regulations. Otherwise, tourist comes here and kills and says, oh, according to my understanding, this is wrong. Yeah, that's what people do practically. Exceptional, but it happens.
There's no room for interpretation in this respect.
Sorry?
There's no room for interpretation. Like when
No.
if I'm driving and there's a
Yeah.
red light in this respect,
Yeah.
I can't say, oh, I understood red as mean go.
Oh, no.
Right.
No. In this sense,
The
the
physical.
law is physically describable, but ideologically, logically, interpretation, physical description. If my door is closed, you cannot enter into my premise without my permission. How can you interpret this? Oh, then I can enter through the window. Why you said on the door? No, it's obvious that you cannot infringe into my property rights. That is the general thing, which has nothing to do with interpretation now in this case. Only the belief system, understanding, coming to a conclusion, derives from interpretation. Practical life, you can interpret the law, but you have to convince the authority. You can interpret what? The law. That's what lawyers are doing. And they say, oh, this law is essentially against Constitution. So they go to High Court.
The court?
Sorry?
The court?
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court. Right?
Yeah. They go to Supreme Court claiming that this law is in contradiction with what our fundamental source says, which is Constitution. So you interpret the Constitution. But physically in practical terms, you know the limit. For example, can you pass through a red light? Yes. If you prove that your car brake broken, doesn't stop. That's why you had to, there's no other way. The judge will say, prove it. If you prove it, yes, oh, you're right. Otherwise, in rule, you have to stop at red light. You understood that the special cases are always exceptions. In every law, in every Sharia rule, there are exceptions. But when it comes to Sharia, we think that there is no exception. No, it does. It has exceptional case in every law. But general practice. So it is interesting that if someone says, I'm going to get married with somebody, so there must be a consensus between them, which makes the fundamental rules as a common ground. Without consensus, can you get married? No, but you can have liberal relationship without consensus, can we say that it is marriage or it is boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? No one is committed to another. Everybody says, look, I'm going to be with you, but anytime I can break this togetherness. I am free, you are free, all right? Okay, no one trusts another. Trust other. If you prefer, so go ahead. I don't. Someone comes and stays in let's say in my house, and says that, look, I'm going to stay in this room, but I can't do anything I want here. But excuse me, what are you doing in my private life if you don't have any commitment? Right? There's no common agreement between you and me. You enter into my harem. It's the same thing. Entering your house, entering in one's private life. Do you see the difference? That's why people don't think. They said, oh, boyfriend, girlfriend, give us your freedom. Freedom is what? Anytime I can break this, and I am only following my desires. I don't care about your desires. There is no common point between us. That's why Islam says this really corrupts the human relationship. It must be prevented. The Quran says, yeah? This arbitrary, without commitment relationship in Islam is what? Severely punished. So that the people should not follow this way. If they don't like it, they are free not to like it, but not in this society. Got it? You can understand the logic behind every legal system. You see, this science equals to humanity's senses. I said, really, we have to understand deeply and be convinced. If you are not convinced, come on, put forward your idea. I would like to hear. And I always say, and I like challenging idea, not defensive idea. Defensive means what? Culture without reasoning. If someone comes to our discussion, if he says, or she says, I don't agree with you. Why? Because Quran says just opposite, according to his or her understanding. I said, it's your understanding. Come not with the authority of the Quran. Come with your idea. Challenge with your own idea. Don't defend yourself behind God's shield. Pretending as if God is challenging me. No, you challenge me. Do you understand the difference? And I said, okay, out. You are baseless from the very beginning. Methodologically, not fit to this community. This community is what? Free thinking community. No prejudice. No imitation. Come with your own conclusion, because whatever you say is nothing but your own interpretation. Come with you, not with God. As if God is on your side and saying that, using that I have the same concept, God, authority, threatening me with this authority under the pretext of your interpretation and attributing it to God. Isn't that cheating? But if somebody comes here with a completely 100% opposite direction and says, my understanding, according to my understanding, my interpretation of the creation, you are wrong because I understood from the creation this, it made sense to me, what you say makes sense to me. That's what I call, this is a challenging attitude. my doors are, in my mind, 100% open to those doors. If I don't have the answer, if I can't stand behind it, if I found that this guy is saying something better than convincing for my mind, better than what I say, definitely I will pick him up and follow him. That's why I'm saying, show me. Show me your idea, which makes sense to me. If you found that I have a conditioned mind, at any rate, I have to defend the Quran. Then please don't bother. I'm a stupid guy. Don't speak to me. Because I'm obstinate. Like we have been criticizing the atheistic idea as obstinate, jealous people. I am one of them. Don't bother to speak to me. I'm not open. So that's why those people who imitate religious tradition, don't bother to teach them anything. But if they are open, yeah. Open to what? To accept that what they understood from religion is their own interpretation. Like what I understood from religion, that's my interpretation. Let's see which interpretation makes more better sense according to our understanding. Let's exchange views. Yeah? That's why the Quran says what? وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. You know? Advise the truth that you understood to others, advise others, and they will advise their understanding of truth to you, and keep this. What is that interaction? This
Tie relationship.
sorry,
Tie relationship.
kind
Tie. 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 A relationship.
title. However, if you agree, because I am going to tell you the truth that I interpreted and concluded, you are going to tell me the truth that you interpreted and accepted. So let's come and let each other inform. Look, I looked at the matter as a human being. I found that this way is the right way. And you say, I interpreted the case as a human being. I found it another way. In fact, our interpretative tool, which is human consciousness, must be based on human capacity, or we don't say capacity now, human potentiality. And I think at the end we should come to the same terms and agree with each other, because fundamentally we have the same potentiality, unless we corrupt it. With that, we have free will. Never forget, free will should never be neglected. You can corrupt it. I can corrupt it. We don't know. Let's talk. If I am open, talk to me. If I am not open, why do you bother? I don't want to accept. That's what human sense says. If somebody doesn't want advice, do you give advice? Doesn't want it. Do you give advice to that person by force? Whatever. Give advice to others and be open to the others to give you advice. It means mutual communication. But they understand. Tell the truth to others only. They don't say, don't listen to other people's truth. According to them, it is truth. No, Wetawasa means mutual correspondence. You heard this, huh? But have you heard any interpretation like this, saying that means you have to go open to other people to let you teach you what their truth is at the same time? Yeah? It doesn't work only one way. You have to tell and wait, listen to others as well. Okay.
Mutual communication, as in try to make sense of the other's interpretation of something and
If
come
it
to a
makes
common
sense.
ground. If
If-
it makes sense.
It doesn't. According to you, that's your conclusion. You are free to come to any conclusion you like. That's up to you. You will be responsible for your own conclusion. And I will be responsible for my own conclusion. You cannot take my responsibility over your shoulder. I cannot. Maybe there are more than 10 verses in the Quran. No one is responsible for another person's burden.
So just be open to listening to the other's viewpoint on something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's human, isn't it?
Right. And then for me, I'm thinking it helps me also reinterpret that which I conclude. You know, it will be a
Listen to if you like. If you like, why did you come here? Or why I'm speaking to you now together? Why? Because see the common point between us. And if I'm making a mistake, please challenge me. And if you say something, if I have something to say as a counter argument, you should let me speak. I should let you speak as well, but not with prejudice, huh? Not hide yourself behind the shield of God's authority. That's why I don't allow anybody to cite the Quran and say that that's what Allah says. No, that's what you say. I said, okay, this is not valid here. I'm not open to this prejudice. Right? If an atheist comes and says, that's what science says. No, that's what science interprets. And you accept that this interprets. Don't say that universe tells me this. The same thing. The believing people say, Bible says this, true. The other one says, the Quran says this, it is true, because the Quran has the authority, Bible has the authority. The other one says, universe says this. This is also authority. Universe is an authority out there. Yeah, non-changing authority. Yeah? Both of them, if someone says, you are saying something against what Quran teaches. It is as invalid as you are saying something against what universe teaches, and invalid. Say, my interpretation of what I understood from universe, you are challenging me, and the other one will say, that is my interpretation of the Quran, and you are not challenging the authority of the Quran. I am not challenging the authority of the Quran. You are challenging, referring to me, I am challenging your authority as an equal creature who was free to interpret. Freedom. So, if you like, God's word is lost, universe's word is lost within their own quality. Interpretation depends on our capacity. How much we developed our capacity, under which conditions. For example, jealousy, obstinacy, bigotry, bias prevents this capacity to work properly. Yeah? But it's equal again. Obstinacy of the in materialistic interpretation of the universe is the same. Obstinacy of the personal interpretation of the Quran, the same. Obstinacy is obstinacy. That's why imitating science is as stupid, non-human, as imitating Quran, non-human. There's no difference. We have to open up our heart. So let the people who interpret the universe, but you and I, if we say that, look, I think universe is created, fundamental principle. That's my interpretation. I cannot say universe doesn't say this. itself. But according to me, universe says this. I am created. The other one says, they cannot speak on behalf of the universe. They say, or when I refer to the universe, I say, what I understand from what universe says, it is created. It says, I am created according to my interpretation. So we should never ever forget that everybody's idea, everybody's belief in anything is subjective to that person, not necessarily subject to reality. So reality is reality out there, but my approach to reality depends on my interpretation. Did you get the difference? You must be very, very careful when you study philosophy of religion. Further study, these are details. We shouldn't be really, according to me, we shouldn't be really shallow in our approach, taking some words for granted and just challenging people. Islam is true, or I don't know, materialism is true, or atheism is true. Just blunt statements. It doesn't work.
I was thinking about interpretation. How am I developing my interpretation?
Yeah, coming to this open-minded people. If you go and listen to someone who takes something for granted, don't waste your time. Just to see how they do it. Maybe information, not as a guidance. No, I read them, I listen to them as a source of information, nothing else. But if they are open, comfortable, relaxed in their arguments, exchange of views, I'm deliberately using the word mutual, yeah, my haq, your haq, let's exchange. But your haq, not the haq, according to you. So my reference point is the world, the universe. Your reference point may be the Quran. I would say your reference point is the Quran. You are saying is wrong. But the Quran says your ultimate reference point will be within your own capacity. What? The universe. The universe is my witness. The Creator says, for you, because you cannot see me, but you can see the universe. That's why I created the universe. That's why the Quran itself says, I created the universe for what? Not a play and game, a witness. What I say is true. That's what the religious source says. In fact, not every religious source is that clear as the Quran is. That's why atheist people very, very shallow and just accusational way when they talk about the Quran. They criticize Torah interpretation and say that these are all the same. The Quran is the same, don't worry. Have you read the Quran? Have you studied the Quran really? I don't think you studied even the Torah. Just read it and picked up what the sentences there that I can twist it. So why do you say that? Have you noticed that in their argument? They say, Quran says the same thing. There was a very serious, I really spent one summer on studying his very serious book in philosophy, but related to theology. He's a very great scholar and at the same time mathematician and also philosopher, right? But also a believer in Christianity. Okay, welcome, but it's a serious man. So read it. Somewhere around maybe 600 pages or something, but very thinking deep. I used to live in somewhere, there was a lake, beautiful. There was no really crowded people. I used to wake up in the morning, make my wudu, and go there because during daytime I don't need anything but I don't need it, but only pray. In order to pray, you need water. It is the lake. That's it. So it was excellent opportunity for me. At the end, the author started talking about the Quran. Huh? In a general sense, saying that the Quran is innovation and imitation of the Torah. Don't take it seriously. What? Excuse me? Evidence? You are a philosopher. You are a serious guy. Very serious, deep thinking man. Yeah, that's why I actually I trained myself along with his teaching, how the thinking develops. So I said, well, when it comes to the Quran, they just throw it in the dumpster. Why? It is the same thing. Why should I bother? Imitation of Torah. Because they mentioned about Moses. Yeah, Torah mentions about Moses. How detailed? What is the difference? Have you noticed? Have you studied? No, just general state. Really, I was so surprised. So, for example, for me, if I generalize about if I generalize my judgment about Torah, will be just a superficial claim. But when we refer to, in our discussions, we refer to certain Christian ideas, we say what the people say. We say what the people say. Yes, I studied a little bit. Yeah, it is not a scholarly study at all. Just a little bit general knowledge about Torah, Bible, but it doesn't know what 2 years I studied. 2 years I studied all the Torah and Bible. That's it in my whole life. But I haven't studied the Quran maybe really 40 years. So you cannot say that, well, I know Torah. No. But I know a little bit of the Quran. Yes, a little bit, not perfect, as much as I could. I'm still studying, no end. Okay, we have to know our limits. Now, I know this subject has lots of implication. It will take the whole hour or class, not hour, 2 hours. So let's finish this text that we read because this is the fundamental backbone or the bedrock of the discussion. Okay.
Sciences which function as if humanity's senses have discovered this order by deduction and induction.
It means within the just one or two sentences, inshallah, it means discover this order by deduction and induction. Do you know what deduction and induction is? You definitely do. Yeah, okay, that's a special case. So, exceptional case. I'm not blaming you, it's not your subject. So, these are nothing but interpretation of creation. Your logical interpretation. You will see the logical the consistency of these conclusions, but still your understanding. So somebody may use the same deduction, same induction method, and come up with a completely different conclusion. You see, open to interpretation. Got it? Well, we covered that. So you know deduction, induction. That's it. We can continue.
Each branch of science is based
No.
on
Closing. It's not the way we learn deduction, induction in 1 minute through internet. It is a very cheap way of treating very serious subject, deduction and induction. If we had time, deduction is okay, but about induction validity, you know that validity of induction is so much discussed and really debated upon. No, it takes another class. I'm sure it does.
Semester at least.
Maybe. It is not easily. But generally, interpretation, this way or another way. Got it? That's it. That's what, as far as our subject is concerned, this information is enough. Okay.
Each branch of science is based upon or studies one aspect of existence.
Got it? Science means studying the ultimate source of practical reality for human being, but practical. You see what I mean? All right? Universe. You cannot change the reality of universe, but you can change the interpretation of the universe. As far as the religious source says, I am divine speech, you cannot change my reality, but you can only benefit from me through your interpretation. Got it? Parallel. So Quran says you have to use both sources at the same time. Materialist philosophy says you have to use your interpretation as driven from the universe, never consult the revelation, which is narrow-minded. You have to discuss this in your thesis, inshallah. Which is close-minded? Which one? We don't notice this. We think that reading and referring to the Quran is prejudice, referring to the universe is over-mindedness. That's the image they invented and they presented to people. Got it? Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? Yes?
Yeah.
But the recording doesn't
Yes.
get it. I think the specialists say yes or no rather than we. That's my understanding. Do you agree or not? So that we will talk about. If we don't have to study many pages a day, one concept is enough a day. But this opens up many, many windows in our worldview. Inshallah, that's what how I feel. Okay. So one aspect of existence is what? Universe, right? And my existence, because I am a part of the universe or within the universe. But like, especially the author of this book, Nursi, describes it so simple. The tree is the universe, the seed in the fruit of the tree, ultimate purpose of the tree, includes the universe. Look at the analogy. All the reality of the tree is inscribed in the seed. Look at a seed is equal to the tree. Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I'm wondering, to what sense does it go into like an infinite regress? If there's a universe within the seed as well.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a universe within the universe.
Yes.
Within
Yes.
the universe.
Yes. Yes.
Where does it end?
No. What? That is how the reality is. We are experiencing. That's it. You said it's a technical word. Infinite regret.
Regress.
Regress.
Yeah, just like going back.
No, it is not infinite regress. I'm sorry, as far as I understand from infinite regress, going back. No, we don't go back. We live in the present. So, especially certain school of thought in Islamic tradition says, universe, its qualities are inside human being, engraved in human being. So in human being lies the universe. In universe lies the human being. So this circle complement each other. Not infinite regress, but infinite complementation. But infinite regress is used, universe created the seed, the tree. Tree created the seed. So go back, seed is created by the cells. Cell is created by, it is going back and back and back and back. DNA codations, codes, or genomes. So go back, genome is created by, it is complementary parts, which are elements. Elements are the result of atoms. Atoms are the results of particles. That is called attributing the cause to another cause. But this, the tree includes all its qualities in the seed, doesn't say, or should not say, we have to know that, tree produced the seed. No. This school of thought definitely emphasizes that tree is created by one absolute being in such a way that all the qualities of the tree is ingrained in its seed, showing and demonstrating that the one who created the tree enables human beings to understand that it knows everything in the universe, so it put it in you. You can deduce it by using your own qualities. It is in you. That's why he says scientific studies gather information within the quality or capacity of human senses. So they are equal to each other. In order to make me or enable me to understand that what is going on in the universe is perceivable, understandable by me, so that I can come to my own conclusion by using my own human senses, which are created, okay, but I am free to use it. It is freely given to me. And it's also given the freedom of interpretation. Right? That's why God said, the Creator says, I'm going to give you the freedom. I'm not going to interfere into your freedom. That is the definition of freedom. You will do it, I will. You will ask, I will create. This is the relationship. Free. Whatever I want. I'm free. Using this tool in my hand. Tool of free will given to me. And also all the other materials to me. You see that it's correlation, okay?
Science's universal principles originate in this order, harmony, and regularity.
I think we could discuss this before, because all the universal principles come from the reality of the universe. They originate in this harmony, because the universe makes sense only through its order. If there was no order, there would be no sense. Because if there was no order, what are you going to study and discover? Everything's chaotic. Okay, that's why the very existence of science proves that there is order in the universe. Any scientist, even they say this universe came out of chaos, still they say, yeah, as a result, it is in order now. That's an interpretation, but in order now. That's why I'm studying the order. Can you see any science which says there is no order in the universe and I'm studying it? Okay.
Each branch comprises the universal principles and rules prevalent in the species it studies.
Yeah. But I think the same thing. The sentence saying the same thing, isn't it? The previous one. Universal principle. It's a rule. The rule is order in the universe. Universal principles means order.
Those principles, universality.
So make it emphasis now. Those principles, universality. It means universality of those principles.
The universality of those principles, as well as the uniformity, point to the order's magnificence, for without it, universal rules, or what they call laws, could not have been inferred.
So it means the without, it means order's magnificence. Yeah, magnificence. It refers to magnificence. Okay, that's what I thought before, and put a question mark there. Be careful when you read the sentence. It refers to what? The order's magnificence. Now, if the order did not have magnificence, why bother? Yeah, important, it means magnificence, it's important for me. Why should I bother? Yeah, it is important for me, so I should bother. Okay? Well, what they call laws could not be inferred because there's no such thing. It's not no. If there was no order, it's another way of saying there's no order, no law. If there was no law, so I cannot refer anything to any conclusion to this. Not law means disorder or chaos.
Scientists discover that order through science, and by it see that the macro-human being is as orderly as themselves.
Yeah, macro-human being, not micro-human being. Because human beings and the universe are equal quality-wise. So one of them is at the macro level, the other one is at the micro level, which enables me to study the universe and come to the conclusions by using deduction or induction. Logical processes, let's call them, okay?
There is wisdom in everything, for nothing is purposeless or left to its own devices.
Yeah. So if give no benefit and wisdom to its own existence. Yeah. Purposeless order means what? I put these elements next to each other, nicely ordered. Why? What are you expecting of this nicely ordered line? That's just order. What's the purpose? It's a waste of time. But I didn't throw the things randomly. I put them in line. So what? Why did you do it? Okay.
It must have that magnificence or that connection
Yeah.
with me. Otherwise,
Pointless.
even if there is an order,
If
it
there
does
is
not
no
have a
purpose.
connection to me, then it's purposeless to me.
Yeah.
The book of creation, with all its systems.
So now the author is changing the universe or existence to replacing it to book of creation. Why? Because it is significant, it is meaningful, it has purpose, it is meaningful that the human beings can benefit from it, right? That's why but he's a very dense writer, very dense thinking. What do you think?
Yeah.
He's very dense writer. He's very aware of every word he uses. Come on. And we have to appreciate this guy. So the book of creation, now the language changed, but after legitimizing this change, logical consistency of this change, the now author uses the word, the book of creation, comfortably, because he established the base for this vocabulary, new vocabulary. Okay?
So the book of creation, with all its systems, worlds of living creatures and particles, proclaims divine unity. Altogether they declare there is no deity but God.
This is divine unity means referring to, the time is really, really late. That's why we have to just pass by it. Divine unity says that this regularity, this magnificence or significance of the order, this purposeless of the order, definitely demonstrates that this is a result of a conscious, intelligent, free being who is all powerful, definitely to create the whole universe continuously, although it continuously changes, but orderliness never changes. It means the universe is continuously, with no interruption, under the control of a conscious being coming into existence. Universe, I cannot attribute consciousness to any particle in the universe. Yeah. So simple. So we are here. But third proof, the Quran is next one. I don't know, inshallah, you didn't feel that you wasted your time. I didn't, although I am curious time-wise, but I am very pleased. Very pleased that we. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم آخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you, inshallah. See you on Wednesday. Inshallah.